Hi everyone, this is Denise Walker from Tech Zulu, and we're here today with Lars Perkins, founder of Relive, a new photo app that allows you to share amongst your inner circle, your close friends. Lars, hi, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Denise. Pleasure to be here.
So let's get started with talking about how you came up with the idea of Relive.
Well, it goes back actually to I first company I did in the photography space was Picasa, and I was co-founder of that company. We sold it to Google about 7 or 8 years ago, and that came out when my kids were born, and I realized I needed to start taking pictures of my kids, and I needed to do it digitally, and the tools that were available digitally were just really, really hard to use. Those were the days when it was just Photoshop and Windows Explorer. So it kind of said, hey, there's got to be a better way, and out of that came Picasa, which was just a simpler way to organize and find your pictures. What I discover now as my kids get older, I want to save these pictures and make sure that they are preserved and they're also private. So it's not kind of an Instagram, Facebook application. My kids' pictures are not something I want necessarily in the same place as I post the funny license plate or what I had for lunch. And once again there's a kind of a there aren't great tools to bring all your pictures together from your different devices. You used to have one camera, but now you've got several cameras, especially in a family. So there isn't one way to bring those pictures together. And also, there isn't, well, there are many different ways, but there isn't an integrated way to share those pictures with confidence privately.
Right.
Your daughter's ballet class or a private party. Even you saw some of the stuff that appears on Facebook with Randy Zuckerberg having pictures shared that she didn't want to have shared. I mean, that kind of says it all.
Right, it's a very good
the
example.
sister of Mark Zuckerberg can't keep her pictures
Absolutely.
with privacy she wants them, there's something wrong.
Right.
So that's where it came from.
Okay, and how was the transition for you? I mean, what did you get out of building Picasa to now starting another company?
Well, I did Picasa along with a very talented group of people, and we sold it to Google, I guess, 8 years ago or so. And I went to work for Google for a couple of years, kind of hoping that I would have a big impact on kind of the direction that the photo space was moving around. Um, uh, just doing smarter things with your pictures.
Right.
So I was really happy with where Picasa was, but I'm not happy where it's evolved to. It really has gone sort of sideways.
Right.
Aside from face recognition and some more filters, there hasn't been a lot of innovation in the way that we capture and preserve our memories. And I wasn't really able to do that at Google for a bunch of reasons. And so the timing seemed right to try to do this in a mobile environment, primarily, because I think the other big trend, aside from this privacy issue and pictures being scattered everywhere, the other big trend, of course, is that the hub of the experience needs to move to the tablet and away from the PC.
Right.
Because people don't want another reason to spend more time in front of a keyboard in their office. They do too much of that already. So.
Right.
So what informs the current product from Picasa experience is mostly around making things easy to use, creating a new kind of paradigm for organizing photos. With Picasa, it was around time. It was like, why don't my pictures all organized by file name? That means nothing to me.
Yeah.
So we created the sort of the overarching architecture of organizing the pictures automatically by time. So we're experimenting with different ways of doing that now with Relive. How do we organize these pictures automatically? How do we include automatically the people you want to share them with? And how do we let you find them? And even how do we let your pictures find you? So you're not in there searching for a picture. It's sort of like, hey, I see you're here. You took pictures here before. You're with a friend. Hey, let me show you some pictures from the last time you were here. So that's kind of the stuff we want to get into, the things that we're going to do.
And I understand it also has a lot to do with events and making it easier for you to post pictures.
Sure, that's where we started. So now I've gone, I've done exactly what you're not supposed to do. I've talked about the things we don't have. And
well, can you maybe walk me through?
Yeah, but events is where we started, and that's geared around you know, the soccer game problem we called it 10 years ago, where you're at a soccer game with your kids and there's 10 other parents there, or they're all taking pictures, but those pictures will never come together. So that's a kind of a classic event. A wedding would be another kind of classic kind of event where you have disposable cameras on the tables of your guests, and they all take pictures, and then the pictures come together. So that's another kind of classic event. But the reality is now that with families that have multiple cameras, and all families do, like my wife would have her iPhone, and I would have the SLR, and my kids have their cameras or tablets or phones. Every week, every time you do something together, it's an event. And so the big irony is that you don't have any pictures of yourself on your phone, right? So you want to show a picture of yourself at this event, or, you know, with your kids, or riding the bike. You don't have them there unless you got an email and tapped and held them and saved them to your camera roll, and then there were the 2,000 other pictures. So anyway, my point is we've created a product called Relive Events. It lets you create an event that's bounded by time. This Saturday, 10 to 12, I'm going to be going to this, you know, to this event, this concert, whatever. And then you can invite people to the event. Everybody takes pictures. The pictures come together, and then you can share them out to Facebook and post them there if you want. You can email them. You get a link that you can follow the event online. If you have other people that can come to the event but you want them to tune in, they can do that. And so that's kind of where we started, was this whole notion of event. You can also now it's being released, I think today, you can make a little keepsake book for $6.99. You can make a 20 picture
very cool.
20 picture book, and you know, $6.99 delivered on your desktop or in your mailbox in a couple of days. And it's just a little keepsake. It's not a big, I'm going to spend the afternoon creating a book. It's just like, hey, you know, we had fun. Let's make a little keepsake for it.
That's great. I think that's one of the biggest problems right now. I think, I don't remember which commercial had that, where they said, you know, your photos kind of just get stuck in the digital world nowadays. You know, it's supposed to be before when you had to print it out, then you always had something to kind of show off. And
exactly. And there isn't just one digital world. There's 5. They get stuck on your phone, and they're not on your computer. You're not on your laptop. You're not on your tablet. And you know, you can configure iCloud, but you know, only, you know, like 15% of people do, and that only works in a homogeneous Apple environment.
Right.
If you've got an Android tablet, or you've got an Android phone and an iPad, those pictures ain't coming together. I mean, and think about how common that is. I've got an iPhone, or I've got an Android phone, and I've got an iPad. When I take a picture here, I want it here. So we solved that.
Well, yeah. Well, it seems you're solving a lot of problems. I have 3 kids. And my biggest thing, I actually ended up having 2 Facebook accounts because of the whole privacy issue. Is, you know, it's so confusing to have to think about, okay, now I have to make it private, now I have to make it public, you know, because there's only certain people that you want to share those personal pictures with, you know. And also, I love it, the whole thing with the iPad and the iPhone. Like, I always get confused. I don't know where anything is, and you know, there's, like you said, basketball, you know, games, and their dad's taking pictures here, my mom's taking pictures here. I don't know if I use my iPad, I don't know if I use my iPhone. So it's a great problem that you solved.
It's also a huge problem. Like, it's got so many little tentacles of different device platforms, Android and iOS. It's got events and sharing. It's got my own pictures. I don't want to lose them. So we're kind of like in the first inning of this, like trying to figure, hey, there's a big problem. What little pieces do we bite off and learn from to grow into this bigger vision? And so we're very early on, so I don't want to say, oh, we've solved all of this, but this is the kind of thing that we're thinking about, and we really think it has an enormous amount of opportunity. It's not like Instagram has solved the photo sharing problem. It hasn't. It's solved it for a certain type of ephemeral or transient image, you know, that you don't have deep emotional connection to, that you always want to have. But when your daughter takes her first steps, that picture you want to have forever. And that's qualitatively, that's a different kind of picture than you put on. You may put it on Instagram as well, so all your friends can see it. Wow, that's so cute. But you want that forever. And your parents, the child's grandparents, want it now.
And in a printed form too, just like.
So you know, so Denise, I'd like to say we're going to solve all your problems. You can just download this app and it's over. But really, you know, we're in the first inning of figuring out some of the stuff, building the infrastructure that does synchronization and groups and so forth. You can have a lot of fun with the app as it exists now, creating these events. We even have a proximity thing, so you create an event, and then anybody with a 600-foot radius can detect that event and join it.
Very cool.
You don't do that for private events, you know, like super private events. But it's like joining a kind of a public network. It's super easy. and you kind of experiment with bringing pictures together, even if the event is only you and your husband, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And even if you leave an event open for all of 2013 and all your pictures are just in that event and they're synchronized on your devices. So there's a lot of different ways to use it. It makes it sort of, it sounds like, oh, there's a lot there, and we're trying to figure out just what the pieces are that we can pull off and make really resonate with our audience, and then move forwards. But I really feel like it's early days.
Right. So, I mean, I know you kind of touched upon what you're going to do, but can you tell me more as far as maybe 10 years from now? Like, what do you think is the future of photo sharing? 5 years?
No. Well, I mean, the future. I mean, if you really want to go, sort of science fiction, it's like pictures are taken all the time,
Mm-hmm.
And then you need intelligence to pull out the moment. I mean, really, if you want to think in the future, I mean, picture taking is sort of ubiquitous.
Right.
It's happening all the time, and you need intelligence and technology to how to sift through all that massive amount of data to pull out the moments and the images, whether they're still or 6 second snippets of video, or 5-minute snippets of video. You need technology to help you pull that out and make sense of it, and keep it safe and share it automatically with the right audiences, so that there's less work instead of more. Right. I mean, and that's sort of like where we're going. It's
right,
like
right.
There should be less work with photos and more enjoyment from them.
Absolutely.
Now it's all skewed. Like there's all this work and there's no enjoyment. One of the things I think resonates so well about Instagram and Facebook is you post a picture and 30 seconds later people are telling you how much they like it. And that's great. It's just not appropriate for all kinds of pictures, especially once you have kids.
Of course, I agree. So how do people find out more about your app? Where do they download it? Is it letsrelive.com, right? Is the address?
Yeah, the application is called Relive Events, and it's available both for iOS and for unusually for a little startup. So it's in Google Play under Relive Events, and it's in the iTunes Store, App Store, of course, under Relive Events, and we even have a version now in the Windows 8 Store.
Very cool.
So you can download it there. You can go to letsrelive.com. It's not relive.com, but it's letsrelive.com. And you'll have links to all of this, as well as you can create your account there. Create events. If you have an event coming up this weekend, you can create the event there, and it will appear on your phone. And then you can add pictures to it, invite other people from either from your phone or your tablet.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Is there anything else that you wanted to let everyone know about your app?
No, it's just, this is early. We don't think it's the answer to everything, but download it, give it a try, tell us what you feel, tell us what you think, give us feedback, and it's just so much fun to hear from real people who are using it and say, hey, if it did this, we'd be,
awesome.
We'd love it and so forth. So we're just having fun with it and really encourage people to give us feedback on how we're doing.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Lars.
Thank you, Denise.